What's up, guys? You're listening to another episode of Selling on Amazon with Andy Isom. This is when Amazon starts to get fun again. Amazon gets fun, guys, when you start over. I know that for a lot of you guys listening right now, you may be in the starting phase and you're thinking, Andy, this is not really fun yet. I'm not making any money. But I promise you guys, once you get further ahead in your Amazon business journey, like let's say you've gone through the entire startup process, which could take, 6-8 months, maybe a year. And then you start selling and you're working through that grind of trying to figure out how to get sales and how to get paychecks from Amazon and how to grow and how to find cash. And you've been doing that for a year, maybe a year and a half. And pretty soon you're going to look back and you're going to be 2 years into this journey. And you're going to have accomplished so much. You're going to be so proud. And you're going to have a whole new set of challenges, right? The challenges of scaling and turning this into a profitable business for you that you can rely on for some income. And I will say this, as someone who now has been running their own brand for 5 years on Amazon specifically, and our other platforms, but those early stages, guys, those are by far the funnest part of the entire business journey. I know I've said this already on the podcast, but you're going to be far more excited when you get that first sale, or maybe when you hit 10 sales in a day for the first time, than you are when you hit 200 sales in a day, or 300 or 500 sales in a day. The analogy that I was thinking of when I was preparing for this podcast episode is like going to an amusement park, Disneyland. I like Disneyland. My family likes Disneyland. And while Disneyland is magical every time you go, nothing compares to that very first time. The very first time, or more specifically, the very first time on your favorite ride. So whether it's Disneyland or Universal Orlando, we actually went to Universal Orlando about 4 years ago. And as an adult, that theme park is incredible. I absolutely love that place. And I'm just remembering now all those cool rides and those cool roller coasters that we went on. And the first time you go on one of those big, fun, fast roller coasters, it's just so exhilarating, so exciting, because you have no idea what to expect, right? Like, you have no idea. You don't know how you're going to feel. You don't know about the twists and the turns and the surprises. If you guys have been to Hogwarts Land, on Hagrid's, I can't even remember the name of it, but it's Hagrid's like motorcycle ride. There's some surprises on that ride that kind of get you. And the first time, it's so fun. And it's still fun, like going on it again and again, like that Hagrid ride specifically. We kept going on it. But that surprise, that shock factor, that exhilaration of not really knowing, that's now gone, because you know what to expect. You know when, I'm not going to give things away, but there's a part of the ride that's really interesting and really cool. And now you know what's coming. So it doesn't jolt you as much as it did that first time. And it's the same thing with Amazon. Like when you hit those first sales, like when you're just getting started, your first product line, and you get those first sales, it's so exciting. Yeah, it's still exciting when you hit a new benchmark, like, 10 sales in a day, 100 sales in a day. Maybe someday you get to 1,000 sales in a day. Those are still fun. I'm not going to say they're not fun, but nothing compares to the first time. Nothing compares to the first time. So for us, we're reaching this point in our business where Amazon is starting to get fun again. I'm not going to lie. We went through kind of a lull period for about 2 years where I would say maybe the pressure was starting to build for us because we had quit our jobs and this was now our full-time thing. And I did a podcast interview with one of my good friends, Dallin, a couple months ago. Definitely go listen to that if you haven't already. And he gave some really, really good advice at the end of that episode saying, get a job that you love while you're working on your Amazon business, because then you won't feel the pressure to perform at a certain level in a certain time frame, because you have a job that can, pay the bills while you're building this business on the side. And that's totally true. Like when we launched our brand, Remy and Rue, we were all working. I was working a full-time job. Taylor was, our business partners were all working. And so there wasn't a lot of pressure. Like there wasn't this pressure of this has to make a certain amount of money by this time, or I'm not going to be able to pay my mortgage and all these things. And so it was just kind of fun. It was just fun. We just kind of treated it almost like a little side hobby. And when we saw sales, it was exciting and we weren't disappointed. I remember when we launched our first products, and we were selling 5 units a day. Like I'm telling you, we're selling like $1,000 a month. But that wasn't like disappointing to us in any way. We weren't thinking like, oh, this is so lame. I'm so disappointed. How come we're not selling 10,000? It was just like fun. It was exciting. It's like, oh my gosh, we put this thing out there that people actually buy. This is so crazy. And then once again, we grew and we grew and we scaled and we scaled. And then it kind of starts to become like that responsibility. And I hate to say this, but like it almost in a way kind of starts to feel like your job once it becomes your job. Like once you quit your job and you do it full time, I hate to break it to you, but now it is your job. And so it may not be as fun as it was in those early stages when it was just a side hustle and there was no pressure. And again, for us, we were doing this, for 2 or 3 years, and we were really only selling the same products, right? We're just launching new designs of dog bandanas over and over and over and over and over. So it kind of started to get a little monotonous. We kind of knew what to expect. We knew this really well. We knew this market. We knew this product line super well. And so kind of the fun and excitement was just kind of like, like we weren't celebrating anymore. We weren't really messaging about like, oh, a new SKU would launch and it would sell like crazy. Like we'd sell 200 units in one day, but it was just kind of like, oh yeah, like we expect it. And so just like that passion just like wasn't really, that excitement just wasn't really there anymore. But now that we're finally expanding into some new product lines, that excitement is starting to build again, which is really fun. We have a new product line that just showed up in our warehouse a couple weeks ago, and we went and looked at it, and I felt that excitement again. I hadn't felt an excitement like that since literally 2019 when we saw our first order come in for our very first pack of dog bandanas. Like seeing a product you made for the first time, like come from your supplier, it was back. Because it was something new. It was like a totally new product line. It wasn't just another design of bandanas. It was like a totally new product line. It was like, whoa, we're doing it. This is cool. And here's the other thing, guys, about Amazon being fun when you start over. That's where all the magic happens. All the magic happens, guys, and the excitement happens in the unknown. I know that's scary for a lot of people, because you're scared of failure, right? The fear of failure, the fear of losing your money, the fear of I spent $5,000 on inventory and my product doesn't sell. And like, oh my gosh, financially, how's that going to impact me? And there's a lot of worry and fear there. But that uncertainty is what makes things fun. Like that's what makes this exciting. That's what makes being an entrepreneur so exciting is the unknown. This isn't like, oh, I'm just going to drive to work every day, sit at my desk, punch in numbers on Microsoft Excel, like what I did for 5 years, and grab my same paycheck every 2 weeks and nothing changes. That is not exciting in any way. I can tell you that because I did it for 5 years. But like the unknown of like, is this going to sell? Even is this not going to sell? How well is it going to sell? Like you really have no idea, but that's what, again, makes it so exciting. Just like when you standing in line for a roller coaster. I remember we're at Universal Orlando and I'm standing in line to ride the Hulk roller coaster for the very first time. The buildup to getting on the ride for the first time is almost as fun as the ride itself. As like weird as that sounds, anyone who's been in this situation knows that. I've said this on a podcast, I think recently, but I'm going to say it again because literally my wife and I have been talking about this the last couple weeks. I heard from someone, I don't even know who it was. It was some random podcast. I think it was a Lewis Howes podcast or clip or something. And he was interviewing a guy who said, the guy that he was interviewing said that they pay for their family vacations like a year or sometimes 2 years in advance. Pay for them. Like book it, pay for it, hotel, flights, everything, a year in advance. He gave a really, really good reason for it because the excitement that you feel, the anticipation excitement you feel leading up to a big fun vacation is almost as fun as the vacation itself. And that is 100% true. My family, we go to Lake Powell every summer. We have a houseboat timeshare at Lake Powell. So every summer we go to Lake Powell. And this is a given. Like it's already paid for. Like we're already paying for it. We already paid for the timeshare and we pay our yearly dues. So it's like a given. Like we are going on this vacation. It's already on the calendar. We know the dates. And so literally from the day we get home from Lake Powell until the whole next year, 350, 7 days till we leave again, there's the excitement of like, oh, I can't wait to go to Lake Powell next year. Like, and my wife and my kids, even Ryan, my 4-year-old, is always like, Dad, when are we going to Lake Powell? Dad, I'm so excited to go to Lake Powell. And like, it's March, right? But that excitement is just there year round. Like we're always thinking about it, we're reminiscing about it. We're excited for the next year. We're excited for what the experience is going to be. My wife and I actually are in the process right now of booking a vacation for the end of this year, for the end of 24, like booking the flights, hotel, everything. Like it's booked, it's paid for, it's there on the calendar so we can be excited and talk about it and look forward to it. Otherwise, guys, like it's not the same as just like saying you're going to do something, because we say this all the time. Like even my wife and I were like, we should go to Hawaii at the end of the year. We should go to Hawaii in December, like some vacation. I'm telling you, it's not the same. Saying you're going to book it and plan it later. Oh, well, yeah, let's go there, but we'll plan it later as it gets closer. We don't know what our calendar is going to be like. So we'll book the flights, like 3 months before or whatever. That is not the same as like having it booked and paid for like Lake Powell. So once it's booked, it's paid for, it's on the calendar, you've committed to it. Now you can start to be really excited for it. So again, it's kind of like that build up to the event is just as exciting as the event itself. So again, same thing like when we're talking Amazon, guys. I know the beginning stages are stressful and hard, but that excitement, the build up of the actual like, oh my gosh, I'm launching. Oh my gosh, I'm starting to grow this thing and actually get some sales coming through. Enjoy that. Enjoy that excitement. Enjoy the unknown. Enjoy the anticipation of that, because that's going to be the funnest part of this entire process. And then you get to experience that again when you launch a new product line, and you're starting over. It's that challenge. It's like embracing that challenge of the unknown, because anything is possible, right? At that point, anything is possible. Launching new product lines, seeing the growth of a new SKU from zero. Like that, to me, for my brand, is far more exciting than seeing the growth of a product line from like 100 units a day to 200 units a day. I don't know why. Like I literally can't explain it well, but I get more excited launching a brand new product that has no sales, no reviews, nothing, and like working through that process and seeing where that can go than I do with like an existing dog bandana product that's like, oh, okay, cool. It's selling 100 units a day. Let's get it to 150 units a day. Even though that actually technically is making me more money, it's still more exciting to start from zero. Just grinding out the learning process, that's just where like all the fulfillment really comes, in my opinion. And then the other thing too, where I find a lot of fulfillment and excitement is competing with the big dogs as a little puppy. So like for us, I mean, I would consider ourselves a nice medium-sized dog at this point on Amazon, at least from our brand perspective. But some of these new product lines that we're getting into, this is our first time selling these types of products. So yeah, like we are coming in as a little puppy in these product lines, and we're competing with some big dogs on Amazon that are doing big time numbers in these product lines. So it's fun again to like come in and really compete and see like how well can we do? Can we really compete with these big dogs? Can we surpass them? That competition, that drive to me is what's exciting. So guys, understand that this is a journey, not a destination. This isn't like once I reach this number, this numeric, this metric, then like I've made it. No, like this is a journey. This is a process of constantly building and testing and trying and failing and adapting and making changes and trying new styles and new products. And like, you have to find joy in the journey. Don't tell yourself that like, oh, I'll be happy when I make $5,000 a month income, or oh, I'll be happy when I'm selling $1 million a year, because I'm here to tell you guys that is not true. Not true. As someone who sells over $1 million a year with their brand, that has nothing to do with your happiness. It won't. I promise you it won't. It may be exciting for one day, in the same way that like, you're a little kid getting ready for Christmas and you're excited. Let's say you want a new PlayStation. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I can't wait. I hope I get a PlayStation. I can't wait. And you're like looking up games online and like watching YouTube videos and you're getting so stoked. Christmas Day is here. You end up you get a PlayStation, you bust it open and you're so stoked. Christmas Day, you play it for 8 hours. And then guess what? It's all downhill from there. It really is. Like the peak of your joy and happiness is all downhill from that moment. And it's the same thing with Amazon. So like if you tell yourself like, oh, I'm going to be so stoked when I send myself that first $5,000 paycheck. I'm going to be so pumped. That's when I'll be happy. Okay. Yeah, you can get excited for the buildup of that day, that moment. And then guess what? Once you pay yourself that first $5,000 paycheck, it's going to be exciting. Like you're going to be like, whoa, this is sweet. This is awesome. And guess what? The next day, you're not going to care. It's all downhill from there. And the next month when you pay yourself $5,000 again, is it exciting? Is it nice? Yeah. Not even a fraction of the excitement of that very first time though. I'm here to tell you that from personal experience. So don't tie up your joy, your happiness in like monetary success or time frames. That's where so many people get like caught up in. It's like, oh, by this time frame and when I hit this amount of money, I'll be this happy. No, like find joy in the process, find joy in the journey, find joy in the struggle, find joy in the pain, find joy in the learning. That's where the excitement is. That's what makes things fun, is like the unknown. You don't know what to expect. It might suck. Like I think about going back to, again, like amusement parks. Like you might get on a ride and you might have high expectations for it or high hopes for it. And you get on it and you're like, that was kind of lame. Or, oh, I got super nauseous on that ride. But guess what? That's okay. Because what all that does is makes the other rides that much better. So you got to remember, guys, like there is no joy without pain. Like there is no happiness without the struggle. If everything was easy, if everything was happy, then it wouldn't be happy. There's only happiness, guys, when there's opposition. There must be opposition in all things. Otherwise, we won't have anything to compare it to. How do you know if it's good, if it's bad? I mean, if there's not the opposite. Enjoy the struggle, enjoy the failures, enjoy the pain, and appreciate it, because that's just what's going to make the success that much sweeter. Guys, I appreciate you taking time to listen to this episode. We got some real sweet episodes coming out. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're, I guess, listening on the podcast, we have content on the other channel. So if you're watching right now on YouTube and you want to listen, we've got the podcast. And if you're listening to the podcast, you can watch on YouTube as well. Make sure you're checking that out. I've got links on my website, www.andyisom.com, to everything that you guys might need and more. So take some time if you haven't already. Check out the website. We've got goodies, discounts, programs, all sorts of stuff to help you guys be successful with this. Once again, I'm Andy. You're listening to Selling on Amazon with Andy Isom. We'll see you in the next episode.